What if a single conflict in the Middle East could pull the entire world into another global war? The rising tensions between the United States, Israel, and Iran are not just about politics today. They are the result of decades of history, rivalry, and unresolved conflicts that stretch back more than 40 years. In this episode of Times of Old, we explore the real historical reasons wars begin, and why the US-Israel versus Iran conflict could become one of the most dangerous confrontations of our time. The tension between the United States and Iran began in 1979 during the Iranian Revolution. Before the revolution, Iran was one of America's closest allies in the Middle East. But, everything changed when the Shah was overthrown and Iran became an Islamic republic led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Soon after, Iranian students stormed the Iran hostage crisis, holding American diplomats hostage for 444 days. From that moment on, relations between Iran and the United States collapsed. One of the biggest modern triggers of conflict is Iran's nuclear program. Iran claims its nuclear activities are meant for peaceful energy development. However, Israel and the United States fear that Iran could develop nuclear weapons, which they see as a direct threat to regional security. In 2015, world powers signed the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, often called the Iran Nuclear Deal. This agreement limited Iran's nuclear program in exchange for economic sanctions relief. But when the deal collapsed years later, tensions quickly returned. Another reason for the conflict is the struggle for influence across the Middle East. Iran has built alliances with groups and governments in places like Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. Israel views Iran's growing influence as a strategic threat. This rivalry has created a shadow war of intelligence operations, cyber attacks, and targeted strikes for years. Modern wars are, rarely fought directly between nations. Instead, they often occur through proxy groups. Iran has been accused of supporting groups such as Hezbollah and Hamas. These groups have fought Israel in multiple conflicts. Because of this, Israel believes Iran is the strategic force behind many attacks in the region. History shows that wars often begin not with one major attack, but with a cycle of retaliation. One strike leads to another, a response leads to escalation. Over time, these responses grow larger until a full-scale war becomes almost unavoidable. This pattern has been seen in many historical conflicts, from the World War I to modern Middle Eastern tensions. The Middle East is home to some of the most important oil routes in the world. One of the most critical is the Strait of Hormuz. Nearly 1/5 of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow waterway. If conflict blocks this route, the entire global economy could feel the impact. History teaches us something important. Wars rarely start overnight. They grow slowly through years of tension, mistrust, and competition. The conflict between the United States, Israel, and Iran is the result of decades of unresolved history, geopolitical rivalry, and strategic interests. The real question now is not just why wars begin, but whether the world can learn from history before it repeats itself once again. If you enjoy historical deep dives into world conflicts, make sure to subscribe to Times of Old, because to understand the present, we must first understand the past. And here on Times of Old, history is never forgotten.